Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Live Lounge, and also welcome to the University of Lincoln. Today, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be focusing on all things placements, and we're going to be looking at the different types of placements you can do. And to support us in that, we're going to have an amazing panel made up of colleagues from the university, some students, and one of our employers. So without further ado, I'll introduce myself. I'm Heather Saunders. I'm the Work-Based Learning Manager at the university, and along with my colleagues, I support students to find opportunities to undertake placements. The first person on the panel who I'm going to introduce today is my colleague, Millie Harris. So I'll hand over to Millie to introduce herself and to say what she does.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name's Millie and I'm a placement and internship advisor at the university.
Thank you. And Millie, what would be useful to hear from you is what would you describe as the benefits for a student of undertaking a placement, and what impact might it have on their CV?
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of benefits to a student undertaking a placement. It's a great opportunity to develop transferable skills that they might not otherwise be able to gain through their course, and really helps them build on applying their course knowledge and information in sort of a real world setting. It's a great opportunity to try out a sector before maybe committing to going into it once they're a graduate. It helps them gain commercial awareness and understand what that industry is like, if that's the type of environment and setting they want to be in. In terms of their CV, again, with the transferable skills that they develop, these are really important and valuable skills that are looked for by employers. So undertaking a placement and getting those transferable skills will really help a student stand out when it comes to looking for graduate jobs and opportunities after they graduate.
Brilliant, thank you. So what support do students get through the placement process? What do you offer them as a placement advisor?
So in terms of the support that I can give as an advisor, so I offer one-to-one appointments with students. They can come and see me. I offer both in-person and online appointments, and during those sessions, really, we can cover whatever the student wants to in terms of their placement search. So that can be starting off from the first step, where to look for placements, where to look for opportunities, going then forward into developing their CV and cover letter and any applications that they might need to do. And also as well, if they maybe potentially need to go to any interviews, assessment centres, those sorts of things, I can offer information and advice, and also do mock interviews with students in sort of a safe setting. So really, I can support with going through from that search to sort of gaining a placement, and as well when a student's on placement, they can come to us if they have any questions or concerns. We're a point of contact.
Thank you. So how do you help with the CVs? What is it things you can do? Because they're complicated for students, aren't they? How do you help them? What?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it is the first time a student is making a CV that isn't for a part-time job. So they're looking to make it more professional. So in those appointments that I mentioned, we can look at a CV together and really go into the detail of it. We can look at it alongside an advert and really help to sort of tailor that CV to an opportunity, as that will be probably the most effective way to gain an opportunity is through that tailoring. I can also help by signposting students to other resources. So that might be our workshops that we offer in the Careers service, but also online resources that we provide online as well, like our CV review tool. So coming to see me for an appointment is a great place for a CV review, or if you're just wanting to access more resources.
Okay, thank you. Do students ever go abroad on placement, and what kind of opportunities might there be for them?
Yeah, certainly. So if a student was interested in going overseas to do a placement, that's something that I can help with, and would help with the search and applying in a similar way as I would for a placement being undertaken in the UK. We've also got our Global Opportunities team in the wider Careers service, who are very used to students going abroad and have lots of useful information and advice that they share with us as well. So we've got a good team with lots of useful knowledge.
Brilliant, thank you. And my final question to you is, how do you source or promote placement opportunities to students other than seeing coming directly to you?
Yeah, so in terms of sourcing opportunities, so whilst we don't match students with placements because they know what they're looking for best. We do really take on board what students tell us about where they're looking to go on placement and speak with our employer engagement colleagues who can help pinpoint employers to reach out to and offer work experience opportunities with placements, internships, etc. Another way that I promote opportunities is by sending out regular emails, and I highlight opportunities on there that might be relevant placements, both local and national, and that gets sent out to students generally in their first and second years to sort of get them thinking about those opportunities and really sort of access those at an early stage.
Brilliant, thank you. So that's all my questions to you, but I'm just going to check whether we've got any from the audience. I don't think we have at this point, so people can add questions as we go along. So that's it from me, thank you. We're now going to show a very short video while we bring in the rest of the panel.
Thank you,
Millie. I hope you enjoyed that short break and that video that you've seen. I now want to introduce you to our student panel members. I'm not going to introduce them because they're the main players. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So if we start with Ruby.
Hi, I'm Ruby, and I do politics and international relations, and I did a placement at Mass over 10 weeks across last summer.
Hi, I'm Tabby. I'm a third year history student and I did a 10-day placement with the National Trust.
And my name's Gracie and I did a year-long industry placement at Canon UK as a marketing communications assistant.
Okay, Gracie, can I keep you holding the mic and ask you the next question? What motivated you to take a placement whilst you were at university?
The industry that I want to go into is so unbelievably competitive. Once I graduate in the next few months, I'm going to be against thousands of other people and students looking to get into the sector, and having that year-long experience that I'll be able to take into these interviews and, you know, throughout the rest of my career with proof of what I've done, it just, you know, it would help me stand out and it really boosts my employability and, you know, the experiences that I gained throughout that year out.
Brilliant, thank you. Tabby, the same to you.
Yeah, so as well for me, heritage is an extremely competitive sector. But as well as that, I had a module-based placement. So I took my placement as a part of my semester A credits. Okay. So it allowed me to have more time for my dissertation in my third year.
Okay. The same to you, Ruby.
So I was more trying to find out what it was that I kind of wanted to do after university. I did have a particular interest in the defence industry, which is what made me take the placement at Mass. But I just wanted to kind of get a better idea of whether that's what I wanted to do and whether it'd be something I was interested in.
Brilliant, thank you. So I'm going to move on to another question, and that is, how did you actually find your placement opportunity? I've got a bit of idea with you, Ruby, so if you want to just briefly say.
Yes, so mine was through one of our career sessions that was throughout term, and I got talking to an employer afterwards and it kind of developed from there.
Okay, I'm going to hear a little bit more about that later in the panel. Tabby.
So for me, the staff member I took mine with was actually doing a PhD here at the uni. So I was able to make contact with her through other staff members and then apply that way.
Okay, thank you. And Gracie?
And I found mine through LinkedIn. There are lots of other websites such as Rate My Placement that I did look through, but the ultimate job that I found was through LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn is what, Gracie?
So LinkedIn is an incredible platform. I like to think of it as a place where I show off my portfolio, the portfolio through different events that I work and, just the different experiences that I get to do. But it's also an amazing platform to make connections with people within the industry. You never know when you're going to need a connection or whoever you might meet. So it's just a really good place to, to show off yourself basically and what you do.
Brilliant, thank you. So the next question I'm going to ask is, what kind of thing did you do during your placement? What were you able to do?
So my role, it was sort of split into three. So I worked within PR, social media, and then internal communications. With the social media, it was looking after the Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts. Obviously, as a photography company, we like to share the photos of our users. So that was something that we really, really, enhanced and made sure that we shared to our social media following. With PR, I was involved with lots of launches, specifically with like the cameras and lenses that we offer to consumers. So, working under NDAs and embargoes was really, really exciting. And then with internal communications, it was just learning how you engage your employees and, how to treat them as assets and really look after them within the workplace and how you do that through, whether that be through newsletters or through events. It was just amazing, 360 of everything in the industry, really.
Sounds really varied. Tabby, what did you get up to on your placement?
So I completed like a research paper for the National Trust. They then forwarded that on to volunteers and used it to educate volunteers on new information that the property were finding out from their collections. So I got to use the collections within my research paper, use the knowledge of the staff members, and then also use the skills that I've already got from university through like websites like Taylor & Francis and JSTOR to kind of research and put this paper together. I then was able to also shadow the collections team in their conservation work of the daily tasks you have to do to upkeep objects in a heritage site. So not as varied, but very interesting.
That sounds excellent, interesting. And finally, Ruby, what did you get up to?
So I did a variety of things really, mainly just getting to understand how business research is undertaken as opposed to academic research. Maths were great as well in terms of giving me help towards things within my third year, so looking at my dissertation, doing a mock interview with me to give me a bit of experience for going into jobs and helping me out with my CV. And then towards the end of my placement, I conducted a piece of research that was assigned to me when I was there as well. So I got to kind of have a go at doing that myself.
Brilliant. Again, very varied, very different. Okay. So do you think, I'm sticking with you, Ruby, do you think your placement influenced your career plans in any way and highlighted your strengths?
Yeah, I think it really influenced my career plans. I had a general interest in that area anyway. I knew it was something I was enjoying throughout uni, but I wasn't entirely sure of where to look or what I actually wanted to do. And having that period at maths just really gave me an idea of what research is, what it entails, and actually made me realise that probably is the place for me after uni.
Brilliant. Thank you. Same to you, Tabby.
So for me, I went into the placement wanting to go into curation and kind of putting together exhibits. But during the 10 days, I started to realise maybe I wanted more of a hands-on experience, a hands-on career, looking kind of into the objects, looking after the objects every day. So then I kind of looked towards the collections management team and started asking them for advice instead.
Thank you. Same to you, Gracie.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. What I learned throughout my placement, I'm lucky enough to have a grad job lined up, which I'm starting soon. And I know for a fact that just the ways of working, whether that be, the organisational skills that I learned throughout my placement are going to be reflected throughout the job that I do in the next coming months. So yeah, it's an incredible skills that I learned from it. Definitely transferable as well. So yeah, very appreciative for that.
Okay. So what would you say was the most valuable thing from the placement that you got?
I think definitely the connections. I mean, I spoke about LinkedIn and the connections that I made through that, but within the industry that I was in at Canon, I met so many people because the headquarters that I was in, it was the European and Europe, Middle East and African as well. So I got to interact with those and I just got to meet so many people, journalists, I got media relations, which is extremely beneficial. And then just across different teams as well. I know lots of them have gone off to they've left Canon and gone into different industries, but I'm still connected with them. So, wherever they go, I'll still know them. So that was incredibly useful and valuable to me.
Okay. The same to you, Tabby?
For me, it was the advice. I was very fortunate that the collections and house manager sat down with me and spoke me through what I should do postgraduate wise, kind of advised me on what masters she took and then what experience she took before going into heritage. And she kind of advised me on what master's programs would best fit my interests. So it did definitely steer me in a different direction to what I was heading in. And I then got to speak to the whole team about what kind of postgraduate things they did to then end up where they are. And they're all incredibly different. I thought you had to do just a master's and then straight on, but it's actually you could do anything. So, yeah.
And for you, Ruby, what was the most valuable thing?
So I'd say mine was definitely a combination of connections and also kind of that valuable insight into how business research is conducted as opposed to academic. Obviously, previous to the placement, I'd only ever done academic research. So it was quite a big change, but it was quite interesting to see how that needed to be put across differently and how you need to be a lot more concise. But then also the connections have been brilliant. I'm still in touch with the team now. They've really helped me in terms of giving me some feedback on my dissertation, looking over my CV with me and giving me any pointers that I needed off the back of that. And they've been great if I've needed anything in terms of referencing for jobs, anything like that. So it has been really useful.
Brilliant. So I'm going to ask one more question to each of you, and then I've got a particular question for Gracie, if that's all right. So we've got students hopefully watching us or are going to watch this video who might be thinking, oh, I really might have a placement or I want to do a placement. What advice would you give them?
Definitely go for it. Try and find something that you might be interested in, but you kind of, if you've got a direct interest, obviously go straight for that. But if there's something that you're a bit unsure of and you kind of want to work out whether it be for you, it's a great way of doing it. Obviously, you're not tied into it afterwards. If it's something you do and you don't enjoy it, it kind of clears that out of the way and gives you a better path for when you are applying for jobs. But just give it a go. If the opportunity arises, it's definitely worth taking it.
Brilliant.
Mine would also be go for it, but also when you get there, ask as many questions as physically possible. Even if you might think that they're a bit silly or stupid, they're not, because someone else is probably thinking them. And that's how you get the most out of your placement.
Okay.
I think for me, it's to be patient. I mean, when I was applying, I think I applied to probably around 25 and I only heard back from one, and it just so happened to be the one that I got. I know for some courses and some degrees across other universities, it's a compulsory part of their degree. For my course, it wasn't, but I knew that I wanted to do it. So it was very competitive, but keep trying. You'll find something. Reach out to companies, even if it's not advertised. Sometimes small agencies, might be looking for people at the beginning of their career and would consider it. So yeah, just be patient and keep trying.
Okay. And Gracie, I've got just one particular question to you, because you took a year out to do a placement, which is fairly standard. So we call it a year in industry or a practice placement year. So you left university, although you were still enrolled for at the end of year 2 and came back in what would be technically year 4, but we call it the year 3. How did you find that? How did you integrate back in?
It was quite different. Obviously, I came back to a cohort that I didn't necessarily know before. My course was relatively small, and there was only one other person that I knew in my course who went on a placement. So we sort of came back together. So it was nice to know a familiar face. And there were a few other people across the business school who were on placement too. So we kind of all somehow managed to get together, and our paths cross ways. So it's nice to make friends through that way, because obviously all of my previous friends had graduated. Academically, I feel like my placement really helped understand, how I can incorporate my tone of voice into the academic work that I was producing. Obviously, it's still academic, but I just felt it was a bit more me. And you get back into the swing of things. It was a real adjustment. I found it was adjustment adapting to placement after being at uni for 2 years and then starting that for the year. But going back from working life to student life as well, that was another thing. I had a salary throughout that year, back to student finance, so learning how to budget again. But it will come back to you. It's natural. It was quite apprehensive when I first came back in September, but you find your feet, you stand your ground, and you get back into the swing of things. And here I am now, a month away from finishing.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, yeah.
Thank you. So they're my questions to you. I am just going to check whether we've got any questions from the audience. Okay, I think we're all right. So, okay, let's move on now, and we'll move on to play another little video before we bring in the last group for the panel. Thank you, everyone. Hi. So now on the couch we have Rebecca and we have Ruby. Rebecca, could I start by asking you to introduce yourself?
So I'm Rebecca. I studied criminology and social policy here in Lincoln between 2018 and 2021. And since October 2021, I have been working at Mass Consultants here in Lincoln as a research analyst. I am part of the Research and Insights team, which is a really unique team as we're really empowered to explore a range of different new and emerging technologies, different innovative ideas and solutions for our customers. And I work as a research analyst. So the research I tend to explore really uses the socio-political perspective that I developed while at university here. So I work on a lot of research that focuses on global defence trends and understanding the geopolitical landscape that is informing defence strategies around the world, and spotting how we can help support customers with the challenges and offer solutions to what they're facing. And I met Ruby at a careers event last March, I believe it was, March last year. And had been speaking about my experiences at that event when Ruby approached me afterwards, and then approached me again on Lincoln Connect, and that's how we organised the summer work experience with her.
And that brings another bit of helpful information in for our students, is that we do have employees who come into the university as well, and they talk about their roles and their organisation, and that is another way that students make connections. So I'm glad you two met. It sounds like a good thing. But what I'd particularly like to know from you, Rebecca, is what motivated your organisation to go on to offer students a placement?
So on a personal level, I would not be the researcher I am today without going on a placement myself while here at uni. I did a month-long placement with the City of Lincoln Council in their policy team, and it was a really, really incredible experience, as it really confirmed for me that a career in research was what I wanted to go into, and it allowed me to use the skills that I had been learning in my degree and the different research techniques that I was learning about, and put them into practice for some really meaningful research. And it also exposed me to a business environment and an office environment, and navigating that dynamic as well. And so when I had Ruby approach me and we were talking about arranging work experience, I was quite keen to get this sorted for you and have you join us, because I really wanted to help another person and another student have a similar experience to me, and really help someone learn and grow into what might be their next pathway.
Brilliant, thank you. And what kind of projects can you offer a student? I know it will depend on a particular student, but in Ruby's case, what kind of things could you offer her?
So we really wanted the work that Ruby got up to be relevant to her interests and her degree. So naturally, as a politics and international relations student, that meshed quite well with the work that I get on with looking at sort of global defence and how politics and policy intersects with that. So I had Ruby assisting me with that research, and she would also come in regularly with her own ideas for different research topics that she could get up to, and we allowed her to have that space and the freedom to be able to see that and how that type of research would add value to a business. And also I also gave Ruby a research task that I had myself received, and we could explore the task together and see how Ruby's approach differed versus how my approach went, and that was a really valuable exercise to do, because it can really show you the value of different perspectives and how different people approach research.
And it sounds like you're saying that actually, although a student's coming to you to learn, they're actually bringing some value to the team?
Absolutely.
And what kind of values would a student bring to a team?
I think the main value that we found in having Ruby join us was is how valuable cognitive diversity can be in a team. I think having lots of different perspectives and different experience within a team is a fantastic way of strengthening how you approach complex problems. You have a lot more innovative thinking when you're thinking together and from multiple different points of view. So being able to tackle complex problems in creative ways, and also strengthened sort of decision making was definitely how we can benefit a lot from having students join us.
Brilliant. And was there anything from Ruby's academic knowledge? Because obviously Ruby had been in university for a little while. Was anything of that helpful? Did you bring anything with her?
Absolutely. So I think Ruby's degree in politics and international relations lends really well to the type of research that we get up to. So a lot of what we look at is competitor research. It's looking at geopolitics and market research. So you need quite an analytical mindset for research like that, and that lent very well into Ruby's degree and the skills that she was picking up along the way. And I think having the knowledge of societal systems that your degree sort of provides you with, and also how policy works and influences things and influences the world in defence and technology industries that I work in, also lends quite well to Ruby, and that's something that you found in your degree and something that worked quite well for us.
Okay, and both of you can chip in if you like. What kind of supervision, training, mentoring did you receive?
So Ruby touched on it already, but we held Research 101 sessions where we discussed the differences between academic research and business research, because research within the context of a business is very, very different. That was something that both myself and my manager found when we came out of academia and started working for a business. So we really wanted to illustrate those differences there. And we also held sessions on different research techniques and different methodologies that we use, and also how to make the most value out of the research insights that we provide. And we also held career sessions. So we had a session where we explored Ruby's CV and gave advice and support with that, and also gave her a mock interview practice to help her become more confident in an interview setting. And we also, because Ruby was very keen to learn more about the defence industry, she was in the right place. We were a defence and technology company, so we brought a collection of people in to chat to Ruby and meet her, and give her some really valuable perspective on their different experiences across the defence and technology industries.
Is that how you experienced it, Ruby? That level of support?
Yeah, to be honest, it just, out of any placement or kind of work experience that I've looked at, I felt like I got a real wealth of knowledge off the back of it. I mean, I didn't expect too much going in. I expected to maybe just be shadowing somebody for 10 weeks. And there was so much provided from the programme that Rebecca herself and her team put together for me. It was incredible. And also, touching on what Rebecca said in terms of getting to meet different people each week, that was brilliant as well, because I was doing most of the things in just one part of the business, but I got to hear from quite a wide variety throughout the business, and it really gave me an idea of what different roles were available there and what I maybe needed to look at if that was something I wanted to consider.
Brilliant, thank you. And my final question to you, Rebecca. Would you be interested in hosting a placement again in the future?
Absolutely. We are currently a few weeks away from hosting another student with us for another 10-week period. When we do this, they join us for 10 weeks, 1 day a week, because it's can be quite an intense experience, we find. So we wanted to make it we didn't want to have it smushed into 2 weeks. We wanted it to be something that you can extract a lot of value from. And we've had quite a lot of interest in joining the Research and Insights team in the last few years. For work experience. So if anyone is interested in joining us, or interested in my job and the work that I get up to, or the industry, please reach out on Lincoln Connect or on LinkedIn as well. And alongside that, we are always on the lookout for mathematicians, physicists and scientists. So I welcome everyone to take a look at MAS's website and also reach out to our hiring team. I believe there will be a link to MAS's website that will be provided at the end of the session.
Okay, brilliant. So we have one question from the audience, as I can read it. And it's a question for me. How can a student apply for a summer internship? Ooh. So that would be in the same way as Millie described. If there was a student was looking for an internship, they could go and visit Millie, who you met earlier on in this panel. And these will be advertised and promoted via our Career Link system. And all the same services that are available looking for a placement would be exactly the same. So the support would be there. Okay. So if there's no further questions, and I can't see that there are, it just to me to thank the panel and to say I hope you've enjoyed it and found it informative. And good luck, and we hope to see some of you going forward at the University of Lincoln.